This is Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and this is my favorite third-party game on the N64. Released in 1997, first for the Nintendo 64, then later on the PC, you play as Turok, who goes around collecting keys to unlock more areas in order to stop a bad guy named the Campaigner, who seeks to rule the universe. Honestly, the plot is bare bones, but who cares? This game lets you shoot dinosaurs with a mass number of weapons. Before I get into it, if for some reason you already want to purchase and play this game on your N64, make sure you have a controller pack because that is required if you want to save your game, which you'll want to do because this game is tough and decent in length. As you can see, this is a first-person shooter, which is not one of the N64's strong suits. But control-wise, I think this game controls well, considering what the developers were working with. You use the thumbstick to look in the direction you need to while using the C buttons to actually move. This is the same way GoldenEye 007 controls on the system as well. It took some time to get used to this control scheme, but by the second level it became second nature. But if you are someone who is new to the N64, you're going to have to get used to the controller because it is a hurdle you must overcome if you want to enjoy the system. Not a problem for me because, well, I grew up with it. The game does automatically aim your gun at the enemy in front of you, which, thank God, because the N64 thumbstick is not one for accuracy when playing a first-person shooter. It may work great for Super Mario 64 and other platformers, but it is awful if you're trying for pinpoint accuracy. So the auto lock-on makes this game actually playable, even in the modern day. This game is the poster child for fog on the Nintendo 64, which is well earned, honestly, but luckily there is an in-game map, just looks like Doom's in-game map too, that helps navigate the levels. If the map was not there, this game would have been unplayable without looking at an online guide all throughout my playthrough. That being said, I did look at a couple of online maps because the later levels start to get tricky. Even with the game looking like you're trapped in a 96 Honda Civic that someone is hotboxing in, I really like how Turok looks. All the colors, while not bright and vibrant, all have this tribal look to them. I don't know how to properly explain it. I may just like it because it combines dinosaurs with the future, which is totally rad, by the way. Almost something I would draw up in my notebook in middle school. If you were going to comment on the low frame rate, which it does dip well below 30 FPS, you gotta realize this is the N64 we're talking about here. Games during this generation generally did not run at 60, let alone 30. Early on, you'll be going through the same looking jungle temple areas, but halfway through the game you'll start to notice that things are starting to become more and more cyber. Enemies will start to fire laser beams at you, and you'll go from a trusty AK-47 to a laser rifle of your own, and many other such weapons. But you will always want to keep your bow and arrow handy when you get the tech arrows, because those things pack a punch. As almost every other game of this generation, you'll want to look in every nook and cranny for keys for levels, ammo, secrets, triangle things that give you an extra life, and even some jump puzzles. These, thankfully, don't take away any of your health, as when you screw up and miss a jump, it just starts back at the beginning. So you can attempt it as much as you want without any real repercussions. Speaking of jumping, platforming is one of the hardest things in the game. In almost every other level, there is a part where if you miss a jump, you just fall to your death and have to respawn at a checkpoint or where you last saved. After a while, I found that looking down while jumping platform to platform being the best option. Trust me, you'll want to master the platforming if you want to complete this game fully. Platforming is definitely harder with an upscaler that adds a little bit of a delay. Another annoying thing you'll have to contend with is enemies respawning. In some cases, the game doesn't really give enough time before an enemy respawns. Usually it's not one of the tougher enemies that have a respawn timer, but after a while it became tedious as all hell. Like sometimes it felt like they'd respawn in like 15 seconds. On a more positive note, the music in Turok is fantastic. While there aren't a lot of tracks on offer, I think it fits well with the tone of the game. Has a mix of a tribal but cyber techno feel to it, and there were times I caught myself head bopping to the music. Alright, time for me to come clean. On the last level I did enable cheats because I'm gonna be honest, the last level is 100% bullshit. It is a massive gauntlet that just never ends, dude. And also the last boss is just stupid hard, even with the weapon you piece together throughout the game. For the later levels, I do think this game was made to sell those cheat books to kids you would see at school book fairs. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? If you didn't get a game cheat book back in the day, you ain't an OG, let's be real. Turok may not be the greatest game on the Nintendo 64, but I would say it's a damn good one. I mean, hell, it was good enough to get a remake of its entire trilogy. A first-person shooter on console was something not many people believed was possible. Many people attribute that achievement with GoldenEye 007 in its multiplayer, but Turok was there first, and it's still a blast to play as it was when it released back in 1997. The game is still reasonably affordable, even when you compare it to other N64 games, so I'd say it's an easy purchase and great addition to your N64 collection. So, I'll see you next time on Jage Amateur Reviews. Kinda weird to say that out loud for the first time.